Hello everyone! Are you ready to start the journey on the center? Well, when we all start our first journey on a new arc, we typically always live out of a thatch hut. Something that looks just a little bit like this, plain, 4 walls, and a little ceiling. But very quickly, between the resources and the tames that we gather, it just really outlives itself, and we need to find something a bit more. But if you're not ready to conquer the dangerous terrain of the higher parts of the center, then I recommend you build yourself a small little beach bungalow, equipped with everything that you can need in the early and the mid game, as well as a small place to store your creatures. As you can see here, we do have a couple of different things from the Bob's Talls DLC, but you can actually use anything at your disposal. We've got the barrels on the outside here. Then working our way up, you do have a place here to hang out with your buddies and check out the scenic ocean view that the center will offer. A couple of storage units as well. And then when you come inside here, you've got plenty of room for your furnaces, a smithy, some cool wall art if you feel like Picasso. I certainly do not, as I have my stick figures typically made fun of. Of course, again, you have another ocean view. We're actually built out over the ocean just a little bit here. Then you've got a couple of larger storage containers here, one of your fellow dodo companions, because no arc journey is complete without taming yourself a dodo in the early game. And then on this side here, we do have some more lighting as well. Also, if you want a nice sip of water, go through and consider just placing a tap on the wall and a little vase below it, if the vase is available on the center, that is, of course. And yeah, it makes for a pretty cool cosmetic little feature here. And then, of course, you could store your goodies inside of here. You could also put a regular storage container here, but the treasure chests do look pretty cool. I do recommend you always throw a map up on the wall, as if you don't have your map complete, typically it will still give you a general idea of what that map is going to look like prior to you fully discovering it. And then, of course, you do got your table with your mortar and pestle here. And I've got myself a nice little party table on the back, but of course, if you want something a little bit more simplistic, you can just go with the basic table from Ark. And then you also got yourself a cooking pot here. And then we make our way out. Essentially, it's pretty simple. He's just, yep, ignore that on the ground. That's gross. And yeah, it's pretty simple. It's actually just built out here. 1, 2, 3, and then I threw the pillars down here to extend it since we need foundations. Put a little campfire on the end because I feel like this would be a really scenic place to cook meat, as you tend to spend a lot of time near the campfire in the early game. And then I got a couple of dolphins here, which you can unlock early, and pretty easy to just hop off of them as well. But I didn't want to go too crazy since this was an earlier/mid-game build, but I figured this would be pretty simple to build early on if you did want something just a little bit more than that thatch hut. And one last thing on the inside here that I forgot to note, that you do have the ability to actually go up top here as a second floor, so you have somewhere for your bed and a couple of extra storage containers, or whatever it is that you cherish or desire. This allows you to kind of have an elevated position here with this angled roof, and that is why these little pillars here, or these half walls, are needed, because if you don't have this, you actually cannot stand here, nor would you be able to get up here with the ladder. Now, let me show you how to build it. So when you first start off this build here, actually all it's really going to have here is essentially you're going to have 9 of your standard wood foundations here, and you're going to place the first foundation basically at the very edge of the water to ensure that you do have some overhang into the water. That way it just kind of adds to the scenery here. And then on the front of that third set of pillars, you'll have 5 of the triangle foundations, and then on each of the sides of the first 2 foundations, you will have 3 of the triangle foundations. So essentially, you've got 3 on both sides, and then 5 extended there at the end. And then I did put some railings underneath, not needed, but it does look kind of nice. And then what you're going to want to go through and do is you're going to want to build some walls. The walls are going to be placed essentially all along the side that is facing the actual ground itself, or the landmass itself, and then you're going to build the walls all the way up until you get to around that first or the second corner of those first 3 triangle foundations. We're going to save the rest to be opened, and then we're going to place railings down on the outside here. And then once you're done with that, you're going to want to go through and place the half walls on top of all of these walls. And then we're going to go through and fill this in. So with the ceiling here above the 3 foundations, the ceiling that we use is going to be the angled triangle ceiling here. And then we're just going to go through and put ramps on each side. Now, when you do go through and have a ceiling like this, I do find that 3 ramps can be a bit repetitive, so I do like to throw a stair in the middle just to mix it up dimension for you. And then on the top layer here will actually allow you to have enough room to be able to build yourself a bed. Now, you can go through and put this railing up top like I did just for some extra decor. That way you don't have just a flat wall here. Essentially, all that is just the half walls, or the half ceilings, I'm sorry. It looks like there is a total of 6 of them. And then I extended each of the pieces on the outside just by 1. And then once those have been extended as well, I placed a pillar so it looked like they were actually connected to something and not just floating. And then I did add some decals to the roof as well with a couple of railings. Again, not necessary. I was just trying to make it not look so flat. And yeah, I don't want to make this video too long here as we are expecting the center to drop very, very quickly. But I figured with the center being a map that is well known for its oceanic areas, that it would be pretty cool to upgrade that early mid-game base to something that was kind of focused or centered around that ocean concept. Alright, well, if you did enjoy today's video, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you're not already.